Starting up the stroomz, starting them up the stroomz, start them up the stroomz, starting them up the stroomz. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, twerkers, jerkers, and lurkers, witches, liches, and bitches? It is time once again for another edition of Johnston Blackhorse Do's the Drarwings with your host, me, Johnston Blackhorse, the one and only, and I'm here to do them Drarwings. Oh, man. It's cold. All right. There's another Johnston Blackhorse Do's the Drawings with a partial dono stroomz. So if you're down for it, you can donate. Like whatever, because I'm gonna be doing dono stroomz for the next couple of months or so because I have to pay off those truck tires, and in order to do so, I have to come up with $400 for the next 3 months before they can get paid off, and that's like $400 on top of like bills that I'm already trying to earn money for. But I'm doing dono stroomz just to make sure I try to get that $400 for the tires. Kind of a late start today because I'm just feeling a little lazy. Oh, what the hell? Oh, my sandals are in the way. Oh, but yeah, whatever you can give would be very helpful. And big shout outs to all those who did donate. Melody donated again last night. And of course, there's like the 4 other people who donated on my coffee page. Fucking all of you kick ass. And I believe one of them was Shecky 23, 27. But let me round up those names. And then 2 anonymous donations. Where am I? There we go. Yeah, it's Shecky 42 and MUQ. Still don't know how to pronounce that. And 2, it just says coffee supporters. I don't know. Maybe if I view details. Oh yeah, Bone Shard Construct and it just says you. No, that's. Okay, that one, I guess that one's, oh, there we go. Bond Druid. Bone Shard Construct and Bond Druid. If that's how you pronounce those names. Anyway, let's get down to it. Buddy says, lazy squish schmuck. Yeah, me getting a late start. It's like, we kick ass, but not enough, it seems. Oh, well, don't feel too bad. I mean, it's just like the fucking constant shitstorm I have to deal with. Like money pits all over the place, especially like when trying to help out with family debts. And but right now I think I gotta focus on myself, try to get my tires paid off, and then I gotta go down. Once I'm comfortable enough, I got to go down and help my sister like wipe out that storage so we can like close that account so she can not have to pay for it anymore. And I recently sent her $130 to assist with the storage payment, but unfortunately I guess she was like $200 in the hole, so well, $200+ in the hole. So when I sent her that money, it just sunk into that money pit. I'm like, oh fuck. And she's not even like square or even with it, and then, oh my god. Well, I sent the payment, and hopefully that helps her in some way, where she can like make the payment for that storage unit. Because I don't want to have to like send another 150 or 130. But let's put aside money woes for now and just get to some drawing. I think I'm to a point where I can start inking after I throw in a few more details, though. And to anybody who may be watching, I have a few ideas to like just do some drawings to like just kind of draw and post in in a desperate bid to like maintain relevancy. But let me know, like pitch me some ideas. Like I've been so far out of the loop for I don't know how long, because I'm just having to deal with like a whole bunch of shit at once. But give me some ideas. Like, let me know like what you would want me to draw. Like, just offer some suggestions, and maybe I can take those and like tool around with those a little bit. But I need a better idea of like what is relevant nowadays. Like, what should I draw, or maybe like do like a little short animated loop. And hell of a boss art would be cool. Oh yeah. So yeah, like fucking throw that in the comment section. Just comment like ideas or characters that you would like to see me draw, and I'll like get around to doing those. Because like being so far out of the loop, because I'm just so bogged down with everything going on lately, like I have no idea what is popular and what isn't, because I like just I'm not with it, man. I'm not with the times, because I just got a whole bunch of life shit to deal with. So if you're watching this, like go down in the comment section and so suggest a character, suggest a genre, suggest a TV show. I don't know. Just like fucking let me know like what interests you and what you would want to see me draw. But hell of a boss, that's a good one. Just throw that in the comment section and we'll go from there. Because now that I'm almost done with school, I'll have more time to like focus on drawing as I try to figure out how to design and program a game. And I had an assignment due today for like writing pseudocode, and like pseudocode is like shorthand, like written like script for like programmers to utilize in like coding, and like fucking man. I don't want to do all that. So I think I'm just gonna like fucking fuck off on this like homework assignment, because like I'm already learning how to code, right? But to like that's like learning a whole nother language in itself. And to write pseudocode is like learning like the in-between language between English and coding. And it's like, well, I'm already learning how to code. Like, why do I have to like learn how to do a shorthand? Like, I guess that's in case like I need to like hand off the pseudocode to another coder. But like fucking, I'm already like doing it myself, so like why even bother? I don't know. I just don't want to deal with like having to learn pseudocode because you have to like write things in a particular format or a particular way in order for other people, other coders to like understand what it is you're doing. Is like, what? Fucking, I'm already learning how to code. I'll just fucking code it myself, man. So it's just, I feel like it's just a superfluous step because like it's like I'm already wanting to learn how to code and I'm learning how to code right now, but then they throw in like this superfluous in between step right in the middle, or like I felt like I should have learned how to like how to write pseudocode before learning how to code, but I'm already writing or like learning how to code, and then all of a sudden it's like they throw the pseudocode concept at me. It's like, but I'm already learning how to code. Like I don't need to figure out how to pseudocode. Get out of here. Melody says the beauty of Hell of a Boss would allow you to be as crass as you want as long as it keeps in tone with the show. Yeah, that's cool. So if you want to see me like do like fan art of Hell of a Boss, throw that in the comments. If you want to see me do fan art of fuck, I don't know, Bob's Burgers, throw that in the comment. If you want to see me do fan art of like a topical video game or like a recent video game, like Resident Evil, throw that in the comments. Cause like soon, like I only have 4 weeks left of like schooling, so I'll have more time to dedicate to drawing. Drawn for the money is drawn for all the money. Gotta make the money. Yeah. Melody says, or you could take a screenshot of the show you find appealing and do your own interpretation of a side scene, add the speech bubbles, etc. Oh, that's muy interesante. Where is the goth boy reference? Ah, there we go. I just need to look at these arm things again. Okay, I more or less got them right. And there is like a strap or buckle on these ones. Oh shit, I forgot to fucking share the links again. God damn it. Ass! You fucking ass, Blackhorse. You fucking forgot again. Okay. Da, 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 da. Those are Twitch stream announcements. Oh, I'll just make them, yeah, streaming announcements, whatever. And then, yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Well, yeah, I gotta keep track of the time because I got class in about 35 minutes. Hmm. I gotta stop being so lazy and like burn the midnight oil so I can get my book done. I gotta finish writing or rewriting all my short stories so I can get it published. Try to get some reliable passive revenue that way. Because I think my problem right now is that I've gotten addicted to sleep. I used to like sleep for only 4 hours a day, but like take take last night for example. I knocked off early and was able to fall asleep around like maybe 11, and slept until this, man, like slept for about 7 hours. I did wake up in the middle of the night because the fucking dogs were barking again, and it took me a while to get back to sleep. So maybe more like 6.5 hours I slept for, and that is way too much for me. No, this is nothing like a blacktooth grin to start the day, and I can still do my old party trick as well, or drinking something up the nose through straws. Love, he's just a wild party kitty. My love, honey kitty, is the most delicate of ladies. She can she can take shots through the eye and up the nose. My honey kitty is one of a kind. And I'm glad she found me. Because I would be hard pressed to find another lovely moderator such as her. Reminds me of the days my dad and I would do dumb shit at Christmas after a few drinks, like snorting lines of white pepper. Those were the days. First to sneeze, lost. Love, you and your dad are crazy. Which is why I'm kind of scared to meet the guy. He seems wildly eccentric. I don't. I hope I fit in. Oh. Mm. Oh man. Ugh. Uh, okay, I'm sort of like looking for something spooky to listen to take up the silence. How about 8 true scary stories to keep you up at night? Oh, I got to put on my headphones just to cancel out the echo. Ooh, oh, those headphones are cold. Of course, like these last couple of days have been somewhat moderate, like not too cold and like warm enough tonight. Like um well yeah, it's like a happy in between. But it's gonna start getting fucking frigid here in a little bit.
When I was 7 years old, I was walking to my babysitter's house all by myself one day. She only lived about a block away from the schoolyard, and I'd done this walk all the time. Very suddenly, though, this car pulled up beside me on the road. The driver gestured to me to come closer and shouted through the window, "Come here! Come here!" I was frozen on the sidewalk, shaking my head no, while my knuckles turned white, clinging to my backpack. This is that situation we'd heard about so many times. Surprisingly, though, he gave up altogether and only said before driving off, "Stay away from Christina." After that, I never saw that person ever again. Now, Christina was one of my on-again, off-again friends in grade school, along with another girl who alternated between hating me and being very buddy-buddy. Honestly, I had completely forgotten about it after a while, and I went back to being...
Okay, like first off, like is this written from like a boy's perspective or a girl's perspective? Because I thought it was like a boy, just like from the narrator himself, but now I'm thinking like this is like possibly from a girl's perspective.
Being on-again, off-again friends with both of them. In 5th grade, the other girl invited me to the pop machine in the back.
Yeah, because like girls had a tendency to do that back in grade school, like the whole like on again, off again friendships that they consistently had constantly.
Hall at lunch. Cool, okay, quality time with a girl I'd known since I was a baby. Sure, why not? We get back to the classroom, and Christina tells me that people were playing with my lunch and had hidden my things. Thankfully, she was nice enough to bring it back for me. I started drinking that pop I'd brought for lunch, but I could tell immediately something was really off. I spit it out and ran for the water fountain to rinse my mouth out. It turns out Christina and her sister had topped off my drink with Lysol. If I drunk too much more, I would have been stupidly sick or could have possibly even died. The police were called and a restraining order was put on both of them. It was delightfully ineffective, however. The school there was so small, there were no separate classes to put them in. They got 3 and 4 day suspensions respectively. I really have no idea if these two events are related or who that man was, or if he just knew how bad Christina was and was really trying to warn me. But that memory sticks fresh in my mind even to this day. I was in my mid-20s around this time, walking home from work across my local park. It was a summer, so it was broad daylight out still. The park could be fairly dodgy by night, but it was really safe and busy during the day. Lots of other people were there relaxing, walking their dogs, or even playing with their kids. I always made a shortcut through this small gate right in the center of the park, which led out onto the road. On this day, there were two youngish Asian guys I could see blocking the gate. I immediately had a gut feeling that something wasn't right here and that I should avoid these two people. I reasoned though that I was just being stupid and continued on. After all, with so many people around, what could possibly happen? I just asked them to move aside when I got over to the gate. As I edged closer though, I noticed that one of the guys had now disappeared from view and the other had suddenly started shouting out to me, "Hey, you there, you got the time?" As he did this, I realized the second guy was now crouching behind the nearby bushes, just barely in view. I took a few steps more, and then noticed that there was also a car parked right next to them. There were two, maybe more guys crouched alongside the car and behind it. In an instant, I realized this was not right. I did an about turn, quickening my step in the opposite direction. The man began to call out again, "Oi, I'm talking to you. What's the time?" My adrenaline was now racing. I sped up towards another exit from the park. The guy didn't shout again, but he did try to follow me for a bit. I was scared all the way home they would follow me the whole way. My hands have never shaken so much as when I was turning the key to my door. I fully believe I narrowly avoided a terrible fate that day.
Boo, this is false advertising. 8 true scary stories to keep you up at night.
I didn't think I had anything really creepy to share until I started reading through all these stories and read something quite similar to an experience I once had as well. It started around my sophomore year in high school. At some point in time, I'd begun getting these really creepy texts and phone calls, but I never really thought...
Oh, I didn't notice some of these chats. It's because my dad and I refuse to grow up, and age should not dictate what you're allowed to like and not like. It was easy for me. I just hated everyone. Oh, for when you were a kid, like having on again, off again friends. Like, yeah, like fuck everybody. Yeah, these stories are fucking
not much of them.
Shit.
In those days, prank calls were quite a common thing to do. The messages and calls would come in consistently for a few weeks, then stop altogether after a while. I honestly would forget they'd even happened, at least until they started back up again randomly. Around my junior year, the calls began getting a lot creepier though. They would now begin to call my house number along with my cell phone. This was around the time cell phones were starting to get popular, so while some of my older friends still had my house number, it wasn't something I would give out to people anymore. When I started dating, they began calling my then boyfriend as well, and would tell him awful lies about me. Sometimes they'd even know where I was at the time, and ask him to question my whereabouts. It caused a lot of issues between us, of course, but again, they would stop after a while randomly, and apart from wondering who it could be, I would forget about the incident and not really think of them again, hoping that would be the last time. Fast forward to college. I stopped talking to a lot of my friends from high school. I even deleted my old MySpace accounts and cleared all my friends from Facebook. Around this time, I kinda wanted to have a fresh start, you know. I was still dating that same guy, but I'd stopped having contact with most everybody else from my past. About halfway through my freshman year, those mysterious calls and text messages started up again. This time though, they had even more personal details about my life. Like always, somehow right before I considered them serious enough to report, they would stop instantly, and I would forget that they'd even happened. Sophomore year, I moved out of the dorms and into an apartment with 3 girls I'd met the year before. One random night, I started getting those usual texts again, but once again they escalated even further. This time, they were threatening to Photoshop nude pictures of me to send out to everyone I knew. I tried to ignore them, but the texts would not stop. I'd block one number and instantly they would come in from a different number. I got really creeped out because of this and decided to change my number the very next day. At this point, I had no idea who this person could be. I had become extremely paranoid and completely stopped trusting anyone except for my boyfriend. I isolated myself from my friends and began going into a deep depression. I sometimes was sure it was so-and-so from high school or so-and-so from this place, but I could never come up with concrete proof it was them. Fast forward a few months and I'm at a concert with my boyfriend. He got drunk that night and we got into a huge fight over it. I was home with my parents that weekend and got home at around midnight. Around 2 a.m., the calls to my house phone started coming in once more. And yes, we did still have a landline. One after the other, we kept getting calls from men asking for sexual services from me. We tried blocking the calls, but like before, it was just constant new numbers one after another. Finally, we just unplugged the phone. The next morning, I had to explain to my parents what had been going on for years now, and together we made the report and changed our landline number. I would later find out that someone had put my phone number on Craigslist and listed me as an escort. By now, I had finally begun realizing that my boyfriend had been the one constant during all of these incidents. Our drunk fight that night could not have been a coincidence.
Yeah, I was suspecting. I was very suspect of the boyfriend. Like, probably like a controlling dipshit douche motherfucker who's like attempting to isolate her from her friends and family by just getting her to suspect everyone else in her life. Just trying to corral her in all for himself, and like fucking does all this bullshit when she does something remotely like what he perceives as out of line. Fucking controlling prick. It's probably him.
And my number being posted on Craigslist immediately after was really suspicious. It took a few tries for me to leave the relationship. He was extremely manipulative, and I had spent years willingly isolating myself from friendships and trusting only him. I finally left him that summer and chose to forget all these things had ever happened. It took me a while to be healthy enough to start dating again, but when I did, I met a wonderful guy who's now my husband. I mentioned to him what had happened to me before, but thankfully was emotionally distant enough from it that we just commented on how awful that was and moved on. Last year though, I began getting those messages once again. I had a new phone, a new number, a completely new friend circle, and I'd blocked anyone associated with my ex-boyfriend. I had not handed out my number to anyone except people I completely trusted, so I was extremely scared when this began to happen again. Thankfully though, this time I was not alone. I now had my wonderful husband to support me. After it happened a few times where I would get text messages only when I was with my husband, and constant ones that insinuated I had been cheating on him, we decided we weren't going to take the chance this was a coincidence. We hoped we weren't being followed, but the timing and content of the messages were obviously meant to cause a fight between my husband and I. We decided to make another police report, this time citing my ex-boyfriend as a suspect. Once again, I changed my number and limited the people who had it even further. Since then, I'm happy to say I've not gotten any unknown calls or messages. The detective assigned to my case attempted to contact my ex-boyfriend, but he was never able to find him. In any case, I think he realized that this time I was serious about pursuing legal action, and he finally stopped. I was really lucky that this was the case, because technically I didn't have any proof it was actually him. Anonymous harassment is actually really difficult to pursue legally for many reasons, so thankfully approaching him was enough to make him stop. When I think about this experience now, I realize how disturbed and manipulative that guy really was.
Don't want to be a buzzkill, but keep an eye on the time squish. Oh,
no proof that the prank calls I got before I met him were actually him. But if I think about now how I met him in the first place, it looks so planned out. Even though back then it seemed like something right out of a Nicholas Spark movie. I hope those calls were a coincidence, but I'll never really know how far this guy went with his stalking of me. I'm just glad to be out of that relationship and to be emotionally healthy once again. My cousin and his family, his wife and infant son, had lived in their house for about 5 years. His wife left home to drop the baby off at daycare before work, but she had to go back this day because she had left her phone behind at home. Upon entering the house, she turned the corner to the hallway and nearly ran into the drop-down attic ladder, which was fully extended. They never used the attic, as it was filled with loose insulation. My cousin had also left for work hours earlier. She quietly left the house and drove around the corner and called the police. When they investigated, they found a short-range transmitter connected to several cameras hidden throughout their home. The light fixture in the shower, the ceiling fan above their bed, even a pinhole in the nursery. They were all sending out videos to a nearby location. Their neighbor a few houses away had been given a key by the prior owners and installed surveillance equipment once he knew their schedule. My cousin's wife had just walked in on him updating this equipment. He'd forgotten something at his house though, and left to get it when she just happened to walk back in. Their neighbor had been watching them secretly for years.
Fucking ass. Bitch ass motherfucker.
I was about 12 or 13 years old. One time I was walking to my psychiatrist for my weekly appointment.
Huh? Like, well, that stopped abruptly. Like, what is that? Oh, is that in reference to the previous story where the stalker was called out, like her ex-boyfriend, and then all the harassment stopped from then? Like, oh yeah, what a coincidence.
Half an hour walk, and it was after
douche.
dark around this time. I enjoyed walking, especially after dark when things were quiet, peaceful, and slow, and no one else was around. No, I did not live in a dangerous neighborhood, nor did my walk take me through any dark areas or dangerous areas either. As I was about halfway to
the last story, it just ended like it ran into a wall. All right. Well, I'm glad I don't have to deal with any of my Honey Floof's exes. Because she has nuns. Because no one can rein in my darling honey kitty.
my destination, a car, a Cadillac, came driving down the street. I could see some people, both male and female, in the car sticking themselves halfway out the windows. They were taunting and jeering at me as they drove by. Bunch of assholes in their late teens or early 20s. I ignored them and kept on walking. About a minute or two later, though, that same car came down the street once again, and those people were jeering and taunting me once more. I didn't even know who these guys were. I'd never seen them before. Maybe they just happened to live in the same neighborhood or something. I still ignored them and just kept on walking. Another minute or so goes by, and again they come driving down the street, taunting me still. I was starting to get real worried. They were now circling the block over and over, clearly focusing on me. As soon as they reached the corner, they made their turn and were now out of sight. I ducked behind some bushes in someone's front yard and waited there for them to pass. Right on schedule, the car came again down the street. This time though, since they didn't see me walking, they were not jeering or taunting or even saying anything. They passed silently by my hiding place and turned the corner once more. I thought to myself that they must have thought I'd finally reached my destination, one of the houses on the block, and gone inside. As a result, surely they would drive away now. I thought wrong though. Stupidly, I chose to leave my hiding place after a while and go back to walking on my way to my psychiatrist. I should have stayed there much longer though, because instantly I could hear a car approaching from behind. They spotted me and started taunting me once again. They turned the corner, and I knew they'd be back around soon enough. This time I began to run towards my destination. I knew I couldn't get far though before that car and those kids caught up with me again. To that effect, I decided to hide once more behind the bushes in front of an apartment building. This time, I resolved to stay there for good until those thugs in the car gave up their search for me. I was hiding there behind those bushes for not long maybe about 30 seconds or so, when the guy whose apartment it was popped out from there and asked what I was doing hiding in his bushes. At first, he probably thought I was a burglar or something. I explained to him, though, how I was just walking and was now being followed and harassed by a bunch of people in a car, which is why I was hiding. Thankfully, the guy could instantly tell from my tone of voice and my facial expression that I was telling the truth. He could obviously see how scared I was. At that very moment, the car came down the street once again and pulled up right to the curb directly in front of us. They looked at me and the guy I was with. He was not a mean-looking guy, a guy in his late 30s or early 40s, but he was tough and had a serious look to him. He was also not wearing a shirt. I looked at the car only to realize that it was now missing a few people inside. That car did not look so full now. The guy I was with gave them a mean stare, and he asked me, "You know these guys?" I explained that no, I had never seen these people before at all. I had not the slightest idea who they were. Just then, as the car was sitting there, 3 of them approached walking from the opposite direction. The car was traveling east to west. These 3 were walking from west to east. That's why the car seemed not so full. They were obviously looking to escalate the situation. They were not satisfied with just driving by and taunting me. Now, they'd changed tactics. Their plan was to physically trap me between themselves and their car. Perhaps they wanted to grab me and drag me with them for whatever reason, but seeing my tough guy guardian angel with me, the kids walking towards us instead hopped into the car and it took off in haste. The guy offered to stay with me for a little longer, or if I wanted to duck into his apartment and stay there until I was sure it was safe to continue on my way. I had a feeling that this was the last I was going to see of those guys in their car though, and I really didn't want to be late for my appointment. I thanked the guy for his offer, but declined. I decided to head on my way. The guy walked back into his apartment and closed the door. I looked at that closed door and hoped that I hadn't made a mistake by turning down his offer of better safety. Honestly, I was still really scared. Thankfully, I was right about not seeing that car again. The rest of my walk was completely unmolested. I reached my psychiatrist's office, and I told my psychiatrist about what had happened. He insisted on calling the police, and they came and took a report from me. That's the last I heard of it. On my way home, I usually took the same route I'd come from, up the same streets. This evening, though, I varied my way home, taking some different side streets to walk on. I never saw that car or those thugs again.
What time is it? Okay, that'll be the last story, and yeah, we'll come back to this stream later today, probably after my first class. I'm going to do a little more reading on that pseudocode, but really, I don't want to have to fucking deal with it. I think I was supposed to take this class before the programming class, but I took the programming class last semester. Yeah, that's right, because this is class 140. And the programming class was 150. So yeah, I was supposed to learn pseudocode before I learned actual code. Okay. But now that I know how to now that I'm learning how to actually code, or I'm learning that beforehand, do I really need the pseudocode? Because I really don't want to do this assignment. Well, it's just going to be one assignment. I've been doing all the rest of the assignments. I'm doing well in the quizzes. I got an A and 2 B's on my midterms. And we've only got 4 weeks left. So what is one missing assignment going to do for my grade? Besides, it's I feel now that I've been learning code before learning pseudocode, I feel like pseudocode is just a superfluous step that is unnecessary. I feel like I've jumped over that step, but then with this class, I'm having to take a step back to learn it. It's but do I really need it? I don't feel like I do. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and close up the stream. It was It's pretty all right. Started inking. Gotta continue inking throughout the day once I jump back on stream. But anyway, to all those who are watching later, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you're down for it and if you're able to, if you'd like to donate, there is a link in the description section below. It'll take you to my Ko-fi page, and there you can donate any dollar amount. Any amount would be very much appreciated. And again, shouts out to all the people who did donate so far. Of course, as always, my lovely moderator Melody, Sheki43, I believe his name was, or 42, Sheki42, Muq, Bone Shard Construct, and Bond Druid. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But yeah, thanks and awesome. Like, you guys kick ass. And again, if like I'm running like low on ideas, because like the ideas I think are good are like fucking 5 or 10 years ago. So if you have something like more present or relevant, like an idea that you want me to draw, please feel free to like comment it, and I'll see what I can do about getting around to that. And I'll have more time to like start drawing again, because we're winding down on the class schedule. I only have 4 weeks left to go after this. So yeah, just leave your comments, leave your suggestions, and we'll get to them. So until next time, this has been Johnston Blackhorse, the one and only, and I shall check y'all later. Sweet. Bye.